Welcome to another episode of Mystery Languages, the first one in 7 years. The way it works is that I'll play you an audio sample of a language, and then I'll show you some written sentences in that language, and you can guess what language it is. Or if you can't guess that, maybe you can guess the language family, or what region it's spoken in, or anything like that. But if you can't guess, that's fine. I'll reveal the language and tell you a little bit about it. Okay, let's hear the first language. Please listen.
Jazyky mě fascinovaly snad už od dětství. Narodil jsem se do rodiny, ve které se vždy mluvilo různými jazyky. Můj táta i moje máma na mě mluvili svými vlastními rodnými jazyky, zatímco my se sebou mluvili jinými jazyky. Dnes je mi 19 let, mluvím 5 jazyky a doufám, že se jich naučím co nejvíc.
Now let's see some examples in writing.
Martine, neviděl jsi moje auto? Šli jsme rybařit a chytili jsme hodně ryb. Dům, který stojí na kopci, nevidím.
Okay, what language do you think it is? The language is Czech. It's the official language of Czechia, also known as the Czech Republic, where it's spoken by around 10.7 million native speakers, and is spoken by around 13 million people in total. Czech is a Slavic language, specifically a West Slavic language. One clue that it's a Slavic language is its abundance of palato-alveolar hissing sounds, sh, j, ch, and j, as well as palatalized consonants.
Mě, dětství, 5.
There are also a lot of consonant clusters.
Dětství, vždy.
A hint that it's Czech and not another Slavic language is the stress of the words. In Czech, words are stressed on the first syllable. I believe this is also true for Slovak, but not for Russian, Polish, or others. When you see it in writing, some clues it might be Czech are that it's written in a Latin-based alphabet, which eliminates several possibilities like Russian, Ukrainian, or Bulgarian, and the abundance of ha-Czech, the little hook diacritic that's part of many consonant letters. This vowel, like an E with a ha-Czech on top, shows that the preceding consonant is palatalized. Slovak and Polish do this by placing I between the consonant and the vowel. Another thing you'll see in Czech is a long U sound written with this letter, like a U with a ring diacritic on top. This is a letter you won't see in other Slavic languages. Okay, let's try to guess the next language. Please listen.
Now then, I thought for my little contribution I'd talk about my native city, so Sheffield in South Yorkshire. And I reckon most well-known thing about Sheffield is, other than the Arctic monkeys of course, is its main historical industry, so steel making, and as an extension of that, guttling. And that's quite a bit different to other cities in West Riding, where weaving's been main historical industry.
Okay, now let's see some written examples.
Does she want me to get this something through chip aisle? She's born out somewhere, but shan't have me with her. There ain't nobody lives round here, so I've no need to worry to send.
So, what language do you think it is? The language is English, but obviously not standard English. It's the traditional dialect of West Riding, Yorkshire, specifically the city of Sheffield. The West Riding Yorkshire dialect developed from Old English just like Standard English did, but from a different dialect of it, the Northumbrian dialect, just like other northern dialects did, as well as Scots. Standard English mainly developed from the East Midlands dialect, and this was after the dialects had diverged a fair bit during the Middle English period. This dialect has some fascinating differences from Standard English. One thing is T forms of the second-person pronouns, meaning you. Ta, which developed from thou, thee, or thee as the object form, and thy as the possessive form. Some other pronouns are pronounced differently too, like a for I, shaw for she, and so on. And different reflexive forms, like usens for ourselves, hersen for herself, etc. Also, there's the definite article t instead of the. I also noticed that the diphthong in words like out, about, south, and round is a monophthong. At, abat, sath, rand. Lots of interesting things like that. Okay, on to the next language. Please listen.
Surabaya iku kutha paling gedhe nomor 2 nang Indonesia. Penduduke kurang luwih 3 juta wong. Kutha iki diceluk kutha pahlawan merga dadi panggone perang nang taun 45 pas Indonesia merdeka. Basa sing digawe nang kene iku basa Surabayaan, uga diceluk basa Arekan. Iki klebu dialek basa Jawa.
Now let's see some examples in writing.
Sampean arep lunga? Nganggur aku nang omah, tak melok ya. Dhek ora gelem ngladeni tamune. Lambian tau dipisui ngono. Mas yo gurung waras. Arek iku tetep mlebu nang sekolah dino iki.
Okay, what language do you think it is? The language is Javanese. No, not Japanese, Javanese. Specifically the dialect of Surabaya, Indonesia's second largest city. Javanese is the most widely spoken mother tongue in Indonesia, spoken by somewhere around 80 million people. The national language, Bahasa Indonesia, or Indonesian, is spoken by almost the entire population of 270 million people, but most of them don't speak it as their first language, because Indonesia has many ethnic groups with their own languages. Javanese is one of them, spoken primarily on the island of Java. Indonesian and Javanese are both Austronesian languages of the Malayo-Polynesia branch, but they belong to different sub-branches of the language family, and they're not mutually intelligible. The three sentences we saw in writing are completely different from Indonesian, at least in terms of vocabulary. But in the free talk we heard before that, there were a few words that were similar to Indonesian words. The word for language, bahasa in Indonesian, and boso in Javanese. In both languages, it's a loan word from Sanskrit. I noticed some others from Sanskrit as well. The word for million, juta, in both languages. The word for war, parang, in both languages. The word for freedom, merdeka, in both languages. The word for resident or population, penduduk, in both. The Javanese word was borrowed from Indonesian. The word for hero, pahlawan, in both languages. And I noticed the word gede, meaning large, which is common in colloquial Indonesian, but not in standard Indonesian. It was a loan word from Javanese into the Betawi Creole language of Jakarta, which has had a big impact on colloquial Indonesian. We'll continue to the next language in about 10 seconds. I just quickly want to mention Langfocus channel memberships. If you sign up as a Langfocus channel member, you'll gain access to exclusive members-only videos, just like Patreon supporters do. But you can join right here on YouTube. Look for the Subscribe Plus button on my channel page or find the membership link in the description. Okay, now on to the next language. Please listen.
میدیلا درون ایچی دوبو خواستیم شما رو بگم ولی وابدم فقط خواستیم بگم میدیلا وابشگاه واسیم ولی پلاپاجیه ننیستیم پس ویریشتم مرا ایتا مرغان دشکن شکودم شمیجا خالی نان مرا بخوردم.
Now here are some written examples.
میمار خانه ایسا بو میخاخور دانشگاه شون داریم اونی کورر ماروجنی بیهم.
Okay, what language do you think it is? The language is Gilaki. Gilaki is spoken in part of northern Iran, on the southern coast of the Caspian Sea. It's a member of the Caspian sub-branch of the northwestern Iranian languages, closely related to neighboring Mazandarani. Persian, or Farsi, the official language of Iran, is a southwestern Iranian language, so they're related, and not really distantly related, but they're different enough that other non-Caspian Persian speakers probably have some trouble understanding it. Manuk, the guy who submitted the audio samples, says that people sometimes think Gilaki sounds a little bit like Russian. Maybe that comes from the Gilak people living near the Caspian Sea and coming into contact with the various other people of the area, including Russians. Okay, on to the next language. Please listen.
Just ahir a la nit em vaig assabentar de la mort d'una llegenda del rock. I just feia 2 o 3 setmanes que havia fet un macroconcert per acomiadar-se del públic. Era gran i era vell i estava una mica cardat. El que era sorprenent era realment pensar que els 4 membres originals de la banda seguien vius després de tants anys i segurament de tantes drogues i mala vida que havien portat.
Now some written samples.
Cal que la gent es fixi més en els senyals de trànsit. S'asseu a la seva cadira i mira per la finestra. Fa temps que el preu dels cogombres és massa car.
So, what language do you think it is? The language is Catalan, or in native pronunciation,
Català.
Catalan is a Romance language spoken in parts of Spain, mainly in Catalonia, the Balearic Islands, and Valencia, where it's often called Valencian and considered a different language by some. It's also spoken in Andorra, the town of Alghero in Italy, and a small part of France near the border with Spain. It's a member of the Occitano-Romance group, along with Occitan, which is spoken in the neighboring Occitania region, which lies mainly in southern France and a small part of Italy. Catalan and Occitan share some features of Ibero-Romance languages, as well as some features of Gallo-Romance languages, so the classification of Occitano-Romance languages is debated. Some include Catalan as Ibero-Romance, but Occitan as Gallo-Romance, which is strange because they're so closely related to each other. Others include both as Gallo-Romance, even though that sends some people's blood pressure through the roof. but basically they're spoken in a transitional area between Gallo-Romance and Ibero-Romance languages. Okay, on to the next language. Please listen.
אני אספר לכם בקצרה על העיר ממנה אני מגיע, העיר אשדוד. היא ממוקמת ברצועת החוף הדרומית והיא עיר די גדולה. החופים שם מאוד יפים, במיוחד חוף המצודה, בו יש הריסות של מצודה היסטורית עתיקה. אני מאוד אוהב ללכת לשם ולהאבד בין החולות והשיחים.
Now have a look at the language in writing.
הגברת הלכה לקנות במכולת. האדון חשב לחבוש את הכובע היום. הילדים שמחים במיוחד כשקונים להם צעצועים.
Okay, what language do you think it is? The language is Hebrew, specifically modern Hebrew. It's the modern incarnation of Hebrew, an ancient Semitic language spoken in the Holy Land and the language of the Bible. Modern Hebrew was intentionally expanded, updated, and revived as a spoken language as part of the movement for a Jewish homeland. And now it's the official language of Israel. But in the process of reviving it, Hebrew changed somewhat. One hint that you're hearing Hebrew is the abundance of the sound ch. There were originally two letters with different sounds, het and chaf, but in modern Hebrew they became a single ch phoneme, so basically you hear it twice as much. Another thing you might notice is a lot of words ending in im. This is the masculine plural ending for nouns, adjectives, and verbs in the present tense. Like in this phrase, ha'eladim smechim, meaning the children are happy. The feminine plural ending is ot, which you might also hear a lot of. You might also hear ot in the infinitives of some verbs, like lirot, meaning to see, liknot, meaning to buy, etc. Okay, another language. Please listen.
Dugi nampam nga gusar circle ga aringlo ado. No nampam loko dapurojo moku nga hakam go adopana. Ngo nampam loko dapurojo moku nga lid anigo ripa. Nulu dapurojo moku go laku bachada nari. Ngulu dapurojo moku remin ria bachado. Sanying nye dira polu nga ngo no nampam ba chasa mangdo. Chatuki. Nam ngo achin opo mapatala karya napa.
And now a few sentences in writing.
Nam selu meru kapa kumalaka. No hugulang pina. Ngo nampam chapina. No nampam amina hugunga. Ngo nampam amina dugi.
Okay, let's guess the language. The language is Tagin. If you've never heard of that language before, that's fine. I hadn't either, until one of you recorded a sample for me. Tagin is spoken in Arunachal Pradesh in northeastern India. It's a Sino-Tibetan language of the Tani branch. The Tani languages in general are spoken by over 2 million people, but Tagin itself is only spoken by around 80,000 people. I've read differing information on whether or not Tagin is a tonal language, and it sounds to me like there's a two-tone distinction, low and high. But according to Tungon, the guy who recorded the samples, meaning is not distinguished by tone. There is a distinction between short and long vowels though, so vowel length can change the meaning of a word. For example, ato means old man or grandfather, while ato means come here. Alright, one final language. Please listen.
Sabahda bir kız obasının Qaraçadırdan içinen sugettiren içi bolağa gedirdi. Qaraçadırlardan bolağança uzak yol vardı ama oradan ki bahar gelmişti, var yer anasının yağlığıyla yaşılıdı gülle.
Now let's see it in writing.
Kişi dağda oğlaklarla görüldü. Səmirəm bugün bacımla bağa gedəm. Haçan beləmlə evimizə gəlirik?
So what language could it be? The language is Qashqai, or Qashqai, a Turkic language spoken in the Fars province of southern Iran. It's part of the Oghuz branch of Turkic, along with Turkish and Azerbaijani, so it has some degree of mutual intelligibility with those languages. Similar to the variety of Azerbaijani used in Iran, Qashqai is written in the Perso-Arabic script. In practice, though, it's mainly a spoken language, while Persian is normally used in writing. So, how did you do? Were you able to guess any of the mystery languages? If you weren't, that's totally fine. The goal is to have fun paying attention for little linguistic clues and then guessing, and then learning a little bit from the reveal and the follow-up language introduction. In this video, there were some languages I knew a lot about, but there were some others I knew nothing about or just a little bit about, so this is a learning experience for everyone. If you'd like to send me a sample of you speaking a little bit of your language, you can do that, and maybe I'll use it in a future Mystery Languages video. I'll leave a link to the submission form in the description of this video. The question of the day. Were you able to guess any of the languages? Or were you close? What kind of clues did you notice in audio and in writing that helped you guess? Leave your answers in the comments. I'd like to give a big shout out to all of the Langfocus Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members, especially the super supporters whose names appear on the screen. Patrons and channel members help keep this channel going every month. You can become a member too and gain access to exclusive members-only videos. If you enjoyed this new Mystery Languages video, then here's a playlist with all the videos from the original series, going back 7 or 8 years. Click on the thumbnail to check it out.